Hello, Twin Flames, and welcome to God Conscious Twin Flame 1111. My name is Pam, and I want to thank you to all my new viewers, subscribers, and the likes and the comments. I really appreciate it. This has been a very stressful week because I am not in the same place twice and trying to find a place to set up and present readings has been an interesting and fun challenge. So here we are. I was inspired by some new decks that I found over the weekend. For Mother's Day, I went to my favorite crystal store, my favorite metaphysical store, and I found some cards that resonated, and I hope that they resonate with you too. One is the Tarot of Dreams by Sarah Marchetti, and the other is the Psychic Tarot for the Heart by John Holland, and they are very beautiful decks. So I was inspired to do a reading for the Divine Feminine, really just what the Divine Masculine wants you to know, where he's at, and what the angels actually really want you to know, so that you can move forward. So today's reading is going to be a Divine Masculine, what is the word? Matter of the heart, if you will, reading. And I prayed over, and I'm shuffling again because I want to cut the deck. This is a new deck, so it is going to take me a little time to get used to how they shuffle and how they lay out. But I am excited to be able to present this to you. I want to give you the scripture that we got today. The meditation music that I'm listening to this morning is a 528 hertz. Release inner conflict and struggle. Anti-anxiety cleanse. Stop overthinking and worry. So, I'm hoping the tone of it is better. I'm hoping that my voice is more clear. I am working on that. I think that the different rooms that I'm in change the acoustics. So today's verse was Ecclesiastes 11:5. As you do not know the path of the wind, or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. So sometimes we spend time overthinking, what's God doing in this, or what do I need to do next? And sometimes you just have to be. So we'll see how that relates to the messages that they want for you today from the Divine Masculine. It's a beautiful day here. I'm in Ithaca, New York, which is where my daughter is graduating from, so I'm pretty excited to be here. It is beautiful. I had an opportunity to go to the one of the local parks yesterday over on the lake and spent just a little time alone in meditation, which was fun. And spending time with my daughter is always such a blessing, so I'm very grateful. I believe she was a gift from God to me to help me on my journey. And though I'm a little slow in listening, I am right where I'm supposed to be. Angels, God and the angels, we ask for a clear view reading on the energies of the Divine Masculine and what they want for the Divine Feminine to know for the next 24-hour time period on where they're at energetically, and any other messages, angels, that you would like for them to know. So call upon all the archangels, particularly mine, Raphael, Archangel Michael for protection, Gabriel, the messenger of God, Mary, the Divine Feminine. Mary, Mother of Jesus. Okay, so here we go. At the bottom of the deck we have the moon, and the moon is the illumination of the shadow self and the God self. And this is really so beautifully displayed. So clearing out illusions is the overall energy for this reading. We got the Tree of Life. We've got Pentacles, Swords, the Emperor, and Justice. Wow, what a beautiful spread. So as I get to know what they want us to know, so he is looking to eat from the Tree of Life. The Divine Masculine wants you to do that. He wants you to go to the Tree of Life. Go stick with the truth. Do not be deceived by your thoughts. And your thoughts are not the truth. So you want to stay focused on how the Divine is guiding you to move forward. Not what you're seeing with your natural eyes, because they don't match. They want you to know that they are working on their path and their ascension process, and that because they're in the hermit mode and they're taking care of themselves, they are not going to reach out to you. They're not going to always let you know where they're at. They're just going to do what they're told to do by the Divine, and that includes staying in solitude, you know, working and staying in solitude. Some of them may be reaching out to have conversations with you, and just keep it light. Do not, as best you can, do not put too much emphasis on when can I see you, or, you know, how things are going, or, you know, let them unfold, because they're still clearing through that shadow self. They're not going to have all the answers for you. They want you to know that they're trying to get to the answers, but they don't have all the answers for you yet. That they really want to be able to get clear and understand themselves better. And they want to understand themselves better without any influence or any ideas on how things should be, or how they should change, or how you think that they should go, or a time frame as to when it should be completed, because they're just not in that space to be able to provide that to you. So they're working on the, you know, the Emperor. That's them right now. And as an Emperor, they are trying to make right the world as they know it, and have it make sense to them as they know it. And some of that is being torn off, you know, the illusions of the world, you know, the idea that we have to work hard to earn an income, and we have to have the family, and we have to have it all together, and the idea that relationships in the 3D are also somewhat of an illusion. That the man is supposed to, again, we talked about this the other day, supposed to be the provider, and he's supposed to be the one that makes all the decisions, essentially, and that he has to abide by the laws, and some of the laws in the government don't make any sense. Some of the laws in the government are jaded or geared more towards the rich as they are than they are to the poor, and those kinds of things upset him. The civic functions of society are off kilter, and that is upsetting for the divine masculine, because he knows that there is a truth, and that we are not the government is not acting in the truth. He has to find out where he did not own his power, and where he may have abdicated it to the karmic, or to the friends, or to the government, governmental systems. You know, where he was maybe even tyrannical and dictatorial. If he's a business owner, it's very difficult sometimes to put that hat down and then come home and be, you know, more even keeled. He wants to be a steward of the vulnerable and the powerless. But in order to be a steward of the vulnerable and powerless, he has to accept his own vulnerability and powerlessness. And so, going through the moon energy, he's getting to that. And he does not, on this part of the journey, he does not want our help. He wants us to stay in our successful mode. The Nine of Coins, the Nine of Pentacles, in abundance and in fluidity in our lives. And he wants us to stay in balance, because that's the outcome card. You know, so as he's working at it through the Emperor energies to get to the Justice card, that will be the outcome. And of course we have the Nine of Swords here, and it's scary to go into that vulnerable place. It's scary to be able to get to the tree of life. Going through the illusions, the dark night of the soul, if you will, to get to the light side, to not get caught up in the shadows and the shadow self. And finding out that, because the eyes are closed here and he's in the center of balance, finding out that that he wants that to be a very fabric of his being, where he doesn't have to look at one side or the other, that it just he knows intuitively what is the right path, what is the path of God, what is it that God wants him to do, or to know, or to be. This is a state of being in the Justice card, that it's in his soul. In his soul. So some of the energies are still consistent with what we talked about. This one is a little of a darker, you know, pale. You see the way the hand, it looks like a hand, but it's actually the tree coming out from the swords. Still kind of in the fear of not being able to provide the emotional and spiritual shelter for the divine, for himself, let alone for the divine feminine. So he really wants to encourage, let him get through this energy. Stay where you're at in your peacefulness. Do not succumb to his energies. Keep praying for the peace of mind and solitude for you and for him, so that he can move through this in his time, in his place. He's looking to get to the tree of life. He's working towards the tree of life, but you have to pass through these phases of darkness and justice and the moon energies to get to the sun, to get to the tree of life, and just being peaceful with it. So thank you. I mean, thank you, angels, for just kind of validating what you have already let us know. So we have the moon energy, and then we have a Six of Cups energy, and the Magician. So the Magician getting into that energy, I'm sorry, I'm just like still getting to know these cards and what their representation is. So clearing through the, you know, youthfulness, going to the inner child of himself is what I'm sensing on this, and really learning how to nurture that as well, and learning how to nurture and come into oneness with his dark side and his light side. So you have a wolf on one side and a beautiful dog with looks like a German Shepherd, and a young man in the Six of Cups. So he's really working on getting into his feminine energies, his childlike self, coming into oneness with that. The water is representing the emotions that he's still experiencing under the light of the moon and the illumination from the divine. And you know, coming into this magician mode, he's got to be very careful, and he knows that he has to be very careful coming into the magician, because that sometimes he needs to find a magician, somebody who's well versed on the journey, who's been through it. He may come to you to be a mentor, but wait for that. Wait for that. Wait for them to actually ask. And don't give too much at one time, because they can't handle too much at one time. So the Magician is a beginning card, and it could be that a magician is going to be on his path, a man who can be helpful to him to navigate through this path of love and life and understanding of the phases of development that he's experiencing. I would encourage that you reserve some of your ideas based on what they're telling me, because he's working through all this. He's working through all this. He knows that coming to you, that the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Coins, will be what he ultimately wants. But he's not ready yet. He's like in the middle of this transformational process. I can share with you that I am in contact with my divine masculine, and I'm listening to some of what he's saying, and some of what he's saying is very very much easier than it used to be. So the advice for you from the divine masculine, I'm going to do from the Psychic Tarot for the heart, which I shuffled, and now we're just going to spread the cards, cut the cards. I have a little more limited space here. So, yeah, in the conversations, I can still hear some of the anger and resentment towards the people that were on his path. I have to shuffle these again. And I can still hear, but it's not nearly as inflamed as it used to be. It's still there, and at one point in the conversation I said to him, okay, slow it down there, partner, it's okay. We're moving beyond that. We're past that. It's that phase is behind us. That phase is behind you. It's been behind me for a couple of years now. I stayed away from the people. We were in a group of people that together that really were a toxic group of people, and I moved out of that group probably 2 years ago, maybe 3 now. And he went back right before we separated this time, and I said to him, it's not a good idea that you go back there, and he did it anyway. And well, he's sort of paying the price for that now, which we knew was going to happen, and that's on him, and he's aware of it. He made some grave errors to his soul You know, we don't want to be around people that are going to degrade our soul in any way. But he did, and so now working through that, and I was able to say without fear of anything, like either I have all of you or I have none of you. I'd rather have none of you until I can have all of you. Quite simple. And so while he's working through this energy, it's much better that he's where he is and I am where I am, because I'm quite content. I don't need him, although I want to be back in that type of union with him. I'm already in union with him in my heart, and I know in his heart. And he doesn't understand the languaging, so if you're going to talk to inflame them, be mindful that they may not be open to it, and that's okay for them. You don't have to impose that. You just know that you know that you know, and you keep it there. Okay, angels, what would you like them to know from this beautiful deck that you allowed me to have, to be able to present to the twin flames? Oh yeah. So as I get to know this deck, the languaging will become much more fluid. This deck is very what's the word I'm looking for, angels? Well, it just has a whole different language to it. Okay, heal. Heal. Yeah. Heal. That's the message. Heal. And the solar plexus chakra. So you want to meditate on the solar plexus chakra. That's a 3 card. And then just observe. Observe yourself in relationships. Observe him as he clears. And then we have listen at the bottom of the deck. So listen to your angels and guides. And don't listen to the shadow self. The shadow self is going to lie to you. They want to tell you things that you don't want to hear. I'm glad they gave us a chakra card, so you want to meditate on the solar plexus chakra. You can meditate yellow light around you. It's the element of fire, and it's the I can do this. The key word is I can. I can do this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's interesting that we get that breathing exercises. Close your eyes, and as you inhale deeply through your nose, breathe in the color yellow. See it coming from a glowing, brilliant sun. Send this vital energy to your solar plexus. Exhale through your mouth all energies that don't serve you. So exhale all energies that don't serve you. Believe that you can have the relationships you desire, and you will. The solar plexus helps with clairsentience, your inner feelings, your intuition. And as you're working through your intuition, their intuition will become healed. And we had that conversation last night about the intuition, and his admitted not working through it, which was really cool, because he's like, I'm not working through my intuition at all. I apologize for that interruption. That's what happens when we use a cell phone for our music. So, okay, back. So we want to look at the heal card number 17. And that's kind of where we know we're at. And that's a good indication that the Divine Masculine wants you to continue to heal those parts of yourself that need to be healed while he's working on his. And a peaceful healing energy surrounds, let's see the broken chains. So that's a direct result of going through the illusions of the dark night of the soul to try and gain the tree of life, really breaking the bondages of self, that were causing us to not be in justice with ourselves. The swords, you know, the dark night of the soul. I love the way they kind of show us what they want us to do in order, or what we really should have in our forefront of our minds to move forward with the energies that are present that we get to work with. Some of this is outside of our control, some of this is inside of our control. Healing is within your control, and the divine wants for us to be in the state of to be like a child, to be like a child. We saw that in the Six of Cups. So to be like a child, where you don't worry about where you're going. You know that it's all being handled for you. So in the John Holland deck, the Heal card, it's forgive, offer, receive, serenity, hope, and inspiration. A peaceful healing energy surrounds you right now. This is an ideal time to bring healing to your relationships and realize your hopes and dreams. This card could be presenting itself to ask you, isn't it time for forgiveness? Understand that no human being can ever be perfect. By accepting this, you're in a position to forgive yourself and those with whom you're involved. Forgive freely and without reservations, as blame and resentment are heavy weights to bear. By forgiving, you'll feel a weight lifted from your shoulders and become enveloped by deep serenity. You'll also give the gift of serenity to the other person. Don't just offer forgiveness, also offer your love and thoughtful insight. Open, non-judgmental dialogues with others, sharing what you've learned and how you've grown. By doing so, you'll be encouraging others to practice forgiveness. With hope for the future, relationships can blossom. Please note, too, that by forgiving yourself and embracing a hopeful spirit, you also invite new relationships into your life. At the same time, be willing to receive the blessings that others have to offer you. Be open to their insights and guidance. Listen objectively to what others have to say and act upon the guidance if it feels right for you. Be receptive to divine inspiration as well. It surrounds you at this time. Heal yourself, heal your relationships, and be at peace. And they offer a affirmation. I offer and accept healing in my relationships, and I am at peace. So the thing that was coming to mind when I was reading this that I want to share, and the angels were asking me to share, is that, you know, the behaviors that the divine masculine engaged in as it related to them separating from us and pulling away were as painful for them as it was for us. And he wants you to know that that was the only way he knew how to prevent himself from hurting you even deeper. So the amount of pain he was in caused him to want to lash out. And if he was in close proximity to you, he was afraid that the damage that he would have done to you would have been so much more profound that there would have been no way through it. So yes, him leaving abruptly or creating a scene to cause you to leave was the only way he knew how to pull himself away so they didn't cause more damage. Now, that idea is extremely profound, because in the 3D world, we can kind of know that they were sabotaging the relationship. We knew they were sabotaging themselves. They had to. And that's a different perspective. They had to. They had to absolutely pull away. They had to go through every bit of that, even though it doesn't make sense to us. So forgiveness of those behaviors and forgiveness of what he has done, and forgiveness, I want to encourage you to look at you, your part in this. You love him unconditionally. You put no expectations on him, but the expectations he puts on himself are extremely profound and powerful. And his expectation on who he should be to you is has as much importance as what you see he should have for you. So he takes all of this, and then he doesn't know how to process other than to just pull completely away, because he doesn't have everything he needs to offer you. And then so in your part, can you allow for him to be where he's at, not put a judgment on it, not feed what people have said about what has happened, knowing that we're on a deeper mission than what the eyes can see. So we had that earlier. The eyes to see. God gives us the eyes to see what those behaviors really meant. Hurt people hurt people. But on the twin flame journey, us healing through each one of those hurts helps the universe heal the hurts, one person at a time. So if you've just met somebody who is going through a breakup in a relationship, you're going to come to that person with a different perspective. You're going to come to that person with something that's a little bit more healing, a little bit more, or a lot more insightful, because you've just been through it. And he appreciates that about you. See how the heart, it goes to the center, the healing is going through the center of his being. And that's what he wants for you, to heal from all the way to the core of your being and break away from any of the bondages of the thoughts. And then there's like kind of a rainbow overhead to break through the bondage of thoughts. He wants that for you. He wants you to know that things will be made right down the road when all this passes. So we got the next card. Well, we did the solar plexus card. The next card we have is Observe, which release, surrender, reconsider, patience, cycles, and perspective. A new understanding around matters of the heart is waiting to be revealed to you. Be still and observant. Now is not the time to take action. Instead, take a step back and wait. Reflect upon the relationship or the issue. What is really happening? Release the need or desire to direct the relationship and simply go with the course of events. When you surrender to the experience, you'll learn a great deal and ultimately get what you truly need. Sometimes it's in releasing that we discover what we really need, as opposed to what we think we need. Trust the process, have faith in the journey, and let go of the outcome. Although forward progress may appear to be slow, now is the time for patience. All things come in the appropriate time and cycle. Progress in improving a current relationship or finding a new relationship will happen when the time and energies are right. When you're open and receptive to the needed change, it will happen. During the process of simply observing, you can also gain a new perspective on your situation. How might you think differently about it? Look at your relationship through the eyes of an impartial stranger. What insights might that stranger offer you? Listen to the observations with an open mind and heart. By taking a fresh look, you'll bring in energies of awareness and transformation. Affirmation. I now take a step back and observe my situation in a new light. And in the tarot, this is the Hanged Man, or the Hanging Man, which really represents being in observation, being in just awareness of what is. The new perspective. Attain a larger, more complete awareness and integration. It's mysteries. Mysteries aren't necessarily meant to be solved, except on TV. Observe how you feel about different situations. Intuition is, you know, getting clear on the intuition. Is this my intuition? I always ask, and that's a 3. It's so interesting because I always ask, you know, like for example, when I made that move, Divine, please let me know without a shadow of a doubt that this is you. And I waited 3 days. And in the 3 days, I had a list of questions. And within those questions, I said, if this is really you, then all of this will be answered. And because I keep everything journaled, sure enough, everything got answered. And within the 3-day period, I knew that leaving and moving to Florida was the right thing to do. And although it caused him tremendous pain, which caused the lashing out that occurred, you know, soon after, I knew that my leaving and letting my journey begin anew was the best thing for me. And it is evidence because the way I feel is so peaceful, and the doors that have opened have been just so easy. Where I was in New York, everything was closed. Everything was shut down. God wanted me to move on to a new journey. And so the solar plexus, the 3, I follow my intuition. They're encouraging you to follow your intuition. You have another 3 in the observe, 2 and 3. 2 and 1 is 3. Just observe. See all different perspectives. Look at it upside down, forward, from the center of it. You know, go out to the left, to the right. There's so many new ways to view a situation that you may not be thinking about, because society does not give us those new ways. It wants us to see it one way. Our friends may see it in one way. We want to see things in a more profound way. We want to see things how God wants us to see them. We have to quiet the mind in order for the intuition to be able to kick in, for us to start to learn about the intuition, for us to start to really get in tune with that inner knowing and that inner voice. The mind is going to chatter in the opposite direction. Do the breathing exercises that it recommended, so that you can get through this. That will help your Divine Masculine. Then you can share with your Divine Masculine when that time is right all that you learned about stilling the mind, stilling the soul, stilling your being, and really give him some tools and guidance if asked. Again, I say if asked because they are in a fragile state because of all this energy that's going on in the main deck. They're in a fragile state, and they're in, you know, they're trying to get through the other side of the dark night of the soul to get to the tree of life, to get to the outcome of the 9 coins, 9 of Pentacles. So, since this was the overall energy, and this is for he wants you to know, we're not going to feed this, we're going to look at it. That hand isn't going to come and get you. You know, that's just the illusion that's being cast by the moon behind it. It's just an illusion. But there is nothing that can hurt you. Not even him. Even he can't hurt you. And he wants you to know that. Just keep healing. Just keep healing. I'm thinking a little Nemo. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. So just keep swimming, Divine Feminines. He is working through all this energy. He wants for you to focus on healing and forgiveness. And I know it seems sometimes that what they did was unforgivable, but if you can embody justice and say, you know what, not look at him and say he should know better, or if he loved me, none of that stuff. He is a hurt person who is coming up for healing. He is ascending beyond. He is in the midst of transformation. He is me, and I wish for him all the things that I wish for myself. And peace, love, joy. I embody justice. It is a part of my beingness. I want to eat only from the tree of life, which is peace, love, joy, self-control, long-suffering, and patience, tolerance. All those things that are renewing and life-giving, and really the essence of love. The essence of love from the divine. The divine gave us 2 trees in the garden, and one was the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and one was the tree of life. Which tree do you want to eat from? So the tree of good and evil is the judgment tree, and that tree causes us pain. And if you're judging your divine masculine is not moving quick enough or not being where you think he should be, then you need to take a look back and really listen to your heart, listen to God, let him be where he's at. You know, time is a man-made constraint, because you guys are eternally together, eternally, which far supersedes time. And eating from the tree of life will help him. He may still be in that egoic of, I don't deserve forgiveness, or I don't deserve your love, I've done such terrible things. Let him go through that. There's nothing you can do to soften that. He needs to go through that. He needs to see that his behaviors needed to come up for healing, that he does not want to do that anymore. But that's the tool that he uses to prevent himself from getting hurt, and it, for a good portion of his life, it worked. So you, Divine Feminine, continue to eat from the tree of life. That's the advice. That's the advice from the angels and the masculine. Stay in the center of balance, of judgment. Stay in the center. And you will be reaping the 9 of coins. If you're not already experiencing it, there's the beautiful dove. And, you know, he wants that for you. He wants that for you. He wants to be the emperor, but the emperor still has even some more growth to find the balance, to be able to be a successful leader. To be able to be a successful leader, he has to embody justice. He has to be in the center of balance of it. So that's kind of where he's at. He's having some of this going on. So you can see the mixture. You can see the mixture. But he's working towards the tree of life. He's working towards the justice. He's working towards the coins. He is. So you have more in the flow of the union. Now the union and the reunion is divine masculine and feminine within. So he's working through his divine feminine energies, so that he can be in that center of balance. So while he's going through that, and if he's reaching out to you, just be a friend. Don't worry about lovers, don't worry about any of that other stuff. Just be his friend. He needs you to be his friend. Maybe even a sister in Christ. However you want to put it. Be that. Alright, well, this is a pretty long reading, and I apologize for the interruption earlier. If this reading resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe. If you, thank you for all those that donated. I really have to get better at, I should lay out a script for myself. Thank you for the donations. They really help keep this channel going. If you would like a personal reading, I would suggest that you start scheduling them now, because I'm starting to book up already for next week. And I would love to give you I would like the opportunity to be able to read for your personal situation. So just click the link below, and I thank you for being part of this journey with me, and I thank you for your comments. Please continue to put the comments out there. They help me and everybody else. If you want to share your story specifically, feel free to do that. I am working on the Facebook page and a few other things, but things are moving a little slowly and in divine timing. So it's all good. Blessings of love and peace. Until next time, Twin Flames.